Hi, welcome to this video of how good is your Jupiter. This video will help you understand how you can study for yourself the effects that Jupiter is going to bring uh, when you're running the dasa of Jupiter. So moving on to the functional nature of Jupiter. When you're born in a specific ascendant sign, and for certain ascendants Jupiter is benefic and for certain ascendants is malefic. So Jupiter is a functional malefic for Taurus, Cancer, Libra and Capricorn ascendants in that order. It is neutral for Gemini and Virgo, and it is benefic and auspicious for all other ascendants. And in this video we're not studying the conjunctions of Jupiter, they must be studied separately, so it's just a disclaimer that we're not taking into account conjunctions here. So when Jupiter is a functional malefic, what it means is it has a role to play. It has a role to play in a way that it has to bring you some harmful effects. But what are the best placements that can reduce the extent of the harmful effects caused by Jupiter? So here we see two cases, that is when it's direct and when it's in retrograde motion. So the best placements for Jupiter when it is direct is 5, 7 and 9, and one of the important reasons is because from these three places it is aspecting your ascendant. So even though Jupiter is a functional malefic, aspect of Jupiter is always good because it's a naturally benefic planet. So when it aspects the ascendant, it certainly helps, and that's why 5, 7, 9 acts as the best placements, whether irrespective of whether it's a malefic or a benefic. And of course the other Kendra positions are well suited for Jupiter to be in, and then we also have a couple of Upachaya houses, there's 11 and 3, where it is good at. The other houses where Jupiter is placed when it's malefic brings more challenges during its dasa, but again it's nothing to panic a lot because by nature Jupiter is benefic, and although it would bring more challenges, you would still be able to get by without any serious problem. Anyway, and of course good conjunctions help, and bad or other malefic conjunctions would create more trouble during the dasa when it is direct. Now let's see the case when Jupiter is retrograde when it is a malefic for you. So when Jupiter is retrograde, the ability for it to cause more harm increases because Jupiter now gains strength, and when it's retrograde it is closest to Earth. So when Jupiter is close to Earth and when it is functional malefic, its tendency to cause more harm increases. And so in such situations when Jupiter is retrograde, it is best, it works really best when it is in very weakly placed in your chart. What do I mean by saying weakly placed in your chart? So it is, I'm not talking about houses 6, 8, 12 here. What I'm talking about is it's placed in debility, and it's placed in enemy sign, or it is placed in far away from the most effective point of the house it is in. By most effective point I mean that the ascendant degree forms the most effective point for every house. So if your ascendant degree is 5 degrees and Jupiter is placed in say 25 degrees to 30 degrees, then it is very far away from the most effective point, and so it is not going to cause as much damage to the house. And on the contrary, since he becomes sort of weak and when he's retrograde, it actually turns out that this could be the best possible situation for Jupiter to be in. Just to give you an example, Barack Obama had a Capricorn ascendant, which means Jupiter is Lord of 3 and 12, and his Jupiter was placed in debility, and it was very far away from the most effective point of his first house. So he became the President of the United States during the time, and he had pretty good Jupiter. And when Jupiter is retrograde, it helps the natural significations of Jupiter, irrespective of whether it's functional malefic. So now let's go and see the functional benefic nature of Jupiter. And again, we have two cases, when it is direct and when it's retrograde. These are again very similar cases. When it is direct, Jupiter does well in Kendra and Trikona houses, and it brings positive results. You will have a great time during its dasa when it's placed in any of these houses. And of course, the next favorable houses are 11, 3, and 2. And then on the other houses like 6, 8, 12, it does become weak to give or produce more favorable results, because the favorable results are now going to those houses which are not so auspicious. But still, having a Jupiter as a functional benefic is a gift, and whenever the period comes, it will usually bring favorable results in dasas and bhuktis. So what happens when Jupiter is retrograde, when it is benefic? Well, now Jupiter is more stronger, and the good effects now increases when it is retrograde. So whatever house is placed in for direct motion, it works well, and it only brings you more favorable results, because it's more powerful to do good for you. So if you have a favorable, if you have a retrograde Jupiter, which is a functional benefic, that's probably the best thing you want. And this is it for today's session. Join me until next time. Bye.